Not with this beard you got this right now. It gives me grief.
All right, let's go ahead and get started with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning and welcome. It is October 13th. This is the Shawnee County Board of County Commissioners. I'm Aaron Mays. I represent District 3 and I'm currently serving as chairman. On my left is Commissioner Bill Rippon representing District 1, and on my right is Commissioner Kevin Cook representing District 2. Good morning to both of you.
Morning.
Madam Clerk, first item please.
First item is item 1 of proclamations, presentations. Item A, Parks and Recreation update projects. Tim Laurent.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Laurent, Parks and Recreation Department. It's been a while since we came up and kind of talked about what we've been doing and what we're working on, so thought we'd take an opportunity to give you a little bit of an update. So these are basically projects that we've either completed this year or are in progress or working on. So Fool's Landing, that's one that we're real close to finishing, but you can see from the photos we've done a lot of work there, improved access, improved safety, and this was funded by some from our department and also a grant from Kansas Wildlife and Parks.
Tim, you might tell what is Fool's Landing?
Well, it's river access. So, yeah, it's a place where you can take your boat and get on the river, and there's people that go down there and fish. And unfortunately, over time, we've had a lot of issues with people dumping trash and doing things they shouldn't be doing down there. So we've tried to clean it up and make it a little bit more accessible. We hope that more people will utilize it, and hopefully that'll cut down on some of the mischievous activities that are taking place out there. Yeah.
Tim, do we have electric out there that we could maybe put some lighting at all? Or solar?
I am not
solar
sure.
lights?
I'll have to look into that. I'm not sure if we do or not. I think if we did, it'd probably have to be a solar option, but I'll find out.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Deer Creek Trail Extension, so you know we finished that here recently, had a ribbon cutting. We are working on the Robinson Trail Extension now, and I'll talk a little bit more about that as we move forward. We've gotten a lot of compliments on Deer Creek though, and we see tons of people using that every day. So Lake Shawnee off-leash dog area, so that opened earlier this year in the early summer. Had a lot of compliments on it. It's getting a lot of use. We do plan to plant a few more trees, and we're looking into maybe adding a shade structure there. So, been a real nice asset to Lake Shawnee. Court resurfacing at Lake Shawnee, Aquarian Acres, and Shawnee North. This is a picture of Lake Shawnee. We did paint pickleball lines at Aquarian Acres and Shawnee North, and so pickleball continues to grow. This project was paid out of excess reserve, so still chipping away. We still have a little bit of excess reserve left. Rieger retaining wall. So we talked a lot about that here at different meetings. We paid for this out of our 3R fund, but you can kind of see from these photos that was a pretty big project, and I think it turned out real well, and we were able to get it completed for less than we had. I mean, one of the few projects where we were able to get it completed for less than what we thought we were going to spend. So.
Tim, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Were you able to use some of the existing block? Or?
We didn't. We actually used new block. They got in there and looked at it and was noticing there's a lot of deterioration in the block that was there. So they could have salvaged some of it, but ultimately, by the time instead of having to sift through all of them and do that, it was actually more cost effective for us just to use new brick. We'd been estimating about $75,000 to do that, and we got it done for around $50,000, so it turned out pretty good.
That's great.
Invista girls, or the Invista softball complex, so we dedicated that earlier this summer. Our sign there is new. That's paid for out of the foundation and the donations from Invista, so that complex is really coming along. We're also working on getting the men's restroom renovated there. Amphitheater renovations, we painted the amphitheater, replaced all the lighting, did some tree work, and the last thing we did was replace the roof. So that's in pretty good shape right now. Midwest Health pool basin painting, so that just recently got completed. Painted all the pool basins at Midwest Health. So this is the yacht club, the shelter house. So the patio that you see there and the sidewalk, that is all new. Even the riprap there, just right here on the right around here, that was all brought in to sort of stabilize that shoreline. I don't have any before pictures there, but that is a pretty significant improvement over what we had before. And then we replaced the doors, which were sliding patio doors, residential patio doors before we did this, so that's a pretty good upgrade. Building gets rented out quite a bit. Betty Phillips parking lot. Hard to make a parking lot look real great in a photo, but this was part of our 2022 capital outlay funds. So that's been a nice change. Shunga Trail concrete repairs. There's a lot of this has taken place right there by Stormont Vale Event Center, kind of in that area to put it in reference, but had 68 panels of concrete replaced, and we paid for all of that out of our 3R funds. This turned out fantastic. This is the Shunga Trail right at 6th and Branner. So we put this retaining wall in and some riprap to try to keep the mud from flowing down onto that trail every time it rains. Recently we had a lady have an accident there, and that really kind of brought this to a head that we needed to do something. It's kind of hard to see from the photos, but you can kind of see where there's water that has run across the trail because we put seepage holes in there, but no mud. And that's what we were trying to accomplish. So that's a real nice improvement, and I think we'll look to do that in a few other spots here along the trail. So again, paid for out of our 3R funds. Hills Bark Park. So this was we expanded the park. We added shade structures, new signage, and lighting, irrigation. All of this made possible from a donation from Hills Pet Nutrition, and we're going to do a ribbon cutting here in November. So real happy with how that's turned out. Munn Memorial there, right next to the dog park. So the Munn was in pretty bad shape. I mean, structurally it was okay, but it needed to be cleaned up, needed to have some landscape work done. We changed the sidewalk configuration, added the handrails. We still have some landscaping to do right there along the front, so we're trying to get that done this fall. But that really turned out nice, and I think it makes a beautiful entrance as you pull into Gage Park. Campground renovations, so those are started. We've got Josh Mikey's going to talk about a barbecue competition out there this weekend, I believe, and so they're working around our events, but we're excited to get this project up and going. Gage Park Master Plan. So we're at a point with this where we're about to start rolling this out and let other people look at it. We did most of this in-house with some help from PEC. I'm not done by any means, but I think we're at a place where we'll see how things go this November with the elections and the balloting for the Gage Park Authority. But at that point, we'll move forward. So, looking good. Patching and repairing the safety surfacing at Animal Land. We also fixed somebody vandalized our camel, knocked off one of the humps of the camel. We got that repaired, and so we've got a lot of things scheduled for the future here in Animal Land and Playland. So, doing some signage and wayfinding projects here at Lake Shawnee. I don't know if you can remember the old welcome. This is off of 29th and West Edge. That sign was in pretty bad shape. Restoration and waterproofing came in and redid all of our stone. And we added the new sign, and then the sign on the right are wayfinding signs that we're going to start putting in the park starting on West Edge. So if you can remember what's out there now, the wooden signs are in pretty bad shape. They're starting to fall apart. So this will replace a lot of that, and should see some of that rolling out this fall.
Tim, have we replaced all of the signage to all of the parks in some way?
There's a few that we haven't, but we have done the majority of them.
'Cause, I mean,
Yes.
at one time, we had 3 or 4 different styles of signage for parks.
Yeah.
Whether it was the old brown wooden ones with the wood-cut lettering, or what Shawnee County had before the merger, and so, and then some of the new stuff. And
I think that we've managed to, we do still have some of the old brown signs. That's sort of what we're replacing out here. But we do have a few parks that still have those. The goal is to get them all replaced. We're working on it. And that's one of those projects, honestly, that we sort of fit in between other projects. You know, when we have time, we go do 2 or 3. But honestly, we've done the majority. I mean, we've done a lot. I don't have a number for you, but most of them are done. So, and this project will certainly go a long way to finishing that. So, and we are trying to stay true to that color scheme and that design. So, want people to see those signs and know, you know, automatically who it is. Cushionberry Park. So this has really been sort of a 3-year project here, but the last phase here was to get Old Buff restored, and he looks great, and that whole park looks really nice. Lake Shawnee Shelter 3 and 6, those updates are in progress. You can see the old door there on the bottom left. I love the way that door looked, but that door is about 6 inches thick and nowhere close to being ADA accessible. So it's been replaced with a more modern door. That door has since been painted, so it looks a little nicer. But the deck behind Shelter 3 and then Shelter 6 on the right, you'll start to see some of those come up here for RFPs and whatnot to get those replaced and get on Shelter 6. We're going to do the siding, the windows, the roof, and we've been up here once for that already. So excited about those changes. Again, Crossover Tennis Complex. That's been going on for a while, but we did landscaping yesterday to sort of finish that part of it. We're still adding Wi-Fi. We still have that piece going on, but the actual renovations to the restroom and the small clubhouse there are complete, and they turned out fantastic. And I think Topeka Tennis is happy with the finished product, and Genesis, and so are we. So. Robinson Trail Extension. So this is picking up where the Deer Creek extension left off. These are some great photos. John Boyd told me this morning that the concrete pouring is done. So they're now going in. They've already started doing work on backfilling and things like that. This could conceivably be done in less than a week. This could be done next week sometime. So we'll be planning another ribbon cutting and another event. We're trying to figure out how to do something maybe a little different than what we did last time, but this is a big milestone for Shawnee County, and this map sort of shows that SHUNGA, Deer Creek, Lake Shawnee trail system. That's 20 miles of trails that runs across Topeka. Pretty proud of it. So it's going to be a great amenity for the folks that live here. West Lawn Cemetery. We don't talk about West Lawn too much. We made a lot of improvements at West Lawn this year, and you can sort of see what we've done. A lot of stone work, a lot of just cleaning, and all of those improvements are paid for out of our West Lawn Cemetery Fund. So really made a lot of improvements there. And just some other ones that we didn't have good pictures for, didn't make the slides, but Westlake Dam repair, so our leaking problem, we're still working on it. Ward Mead sidewalk and gazebo replacement, that is happening, and thanks to the Friends of Ward Mead, they're paying for about half of that. So continues to be such a great partnership. Hillcrest Community Center roof replacement and exterior painting. They're working on the roof now, and when that's done, they'll do the painting, and this will sort of wrap up everything at Hillcrest. Ted Inslee Garden, patio paver upgrades. I mentioned the cost over Wi-Fi project, also the Gage Park playland renovations. Still trying to get those men's restrooms at the Vista Complex, softball complex redone. That's happening. Hopefully be done before the end of this year, before the play starts next year. And then Gage Park mini train replacement and track upgrades. So those are on schedule, and again, should be completed before we open up next season. So be happy to answer any questions.
I suppose you're in the midst of planting tulips too, right? now.
We are. I know Josh is going to come up here in administrative communications and talk about that, but we're definitely still looking for volunteers for tulips and also Winter Wonderland. So he'll fill you in on how you can do that.
So, Tim, you mentioned the Deer Creek Trail on there. The new part that we're working on currently, I think
Yeah.
it seemed like maybe
Robinson.
Robinson.
yeah.
Can you did you talk about that? I don't
Yes.
remember. Oh,
I
okay.
did, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I
must
didn't
have-
mention it by name, but yeah, that's, we built a parking lot there. I closed it, but we built a parking lot there a few years ago, and I got some questions about why are you building a parking lot out here in the middle of nowhere? And you could see from that slide why, and so it's done, and that's a beautiful trailhead there if you haven't been there. But yeah, that Robinson extension, it's a little less than a mile, but that's the key to completing or connecting the Deer Creek to the trails at Lake Shawnee. So that'll be that 20-mile stretch.
Tim, thanks for doing this presentation. This is
You're very
helpful,
welcome.
and I think
Yeah,
it's
it is
good for
good.
people to see this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we need to do this, quarterly or at least, a couple times a year.
Yeah.
I think that people sometimes forget how much is going on with Parks and Rec and how much you guys are doing to keep up the facilities that we have.
Appreciate that. Be
Yeah.
happy to do it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next item, please.
Item 3, consent agenda.
So we've got 8 items on the consent agenda. I did want to draw your attention to items C and D for Vallejo because the numbers there are pretty large. Normally, those would not typically be on the consent, but these are items that have already been approved. The funding has been approved. This is just to finalize the contract. So I'll move for approval if there's no other questions.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner May, seconded by Commissioner Cook. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
Item 4, new business, A, County Clerk number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Okay. Under Facilities Management, paid with ARPA and SLFRF funds. Modern Business Interiors LLC, $17,883.04 is for furniture for 707 Quincy. Under Park Administration, paid with ARPA and SLFRF funds. Chance Rides Manufacturing, Inc., $97,500 is for the second 15% progress billing for Gage Park Mini Train. Under Sheriff, Axon Enterprise, Inc., totaling $115,662.96 is for 5-year body-worn camera maintenance and auto tagging service. Total vouchers as of October 12th, 2022, $1,415,201.38. There's no questions or comments. I would move for the vouchers to be approved.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
Okay, item B, audit finance number 1, consideration is requested to award the bid and approve contract C299-2022 to KC Presort LLC for mail services.
Good morning, Betty Griner, Director of Administrative Services. The commission had approved us to go out for bid for our mail services for the county. And we did that. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Yes, we did that. We got the bids in, put together a committee that included the county clerk, the county treasurer, the court administrator, the sheriff's office, and audit finance, and we reviewed those bids. We are asking that you would award the bid and approve the contract to KC Presort for our mail services. Now, that includes, for all departments, that includes picking up the mail, pre-sorting it, putting on the postage, and processing. That way we get a lower postage rate by them pre-sorting it. So in the long run, it saves us money as a county. They're also working with specific departments that have, other mailing needs that are more unique and specific to those departments, such as, solid waste, elections, those types. I do have here today Leslie Russell and Ron Klein, if you would like to come up and introduce yourself.
Good morning, I'm Leslie Russell, and I'm one of the owners of KC Presort.
Good morning, Ron Klein, Sales Manager for KC Presort. Thank you very much for having us.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
So, as I said, I would ask for you to award the bid and approve the contract unless you have any questions.
Any questions?
None.
All right, I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. Those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Betty. Next item, please.
Item C, County Councilor, number 1, consider approval of resolution number 2022-83, reflecting that commission meetings will be held at 707 Southeast Quincy, commencing October 27th, 2022.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jim Crown, Shawnee County Councilor. For those who follow county government, they will know that in January every year we have a meeting where we elect a new chair, a new vice chair, and one of the things we do is adopt an organizational resolution. So what I have before you today is simply an amendment to that organizational resolution that was adopted last January to reflect that we are moving to 707 Southeast Quincy, and we're going to commence our commission meetings on October 27th. And so we're just simply officially changing the location of our regular meetings with this resolution. If the final item on the agenda today is adopted favorably under commission, then that means we'll have one more meeting in this room on the 20th, and then we'll start on the 27th. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Questions for Jim? No?
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. Those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Next item, please.
Item D, Weed Department, number 1, consider an approval or request to increase the credit card limit from $3,000 to $10,000 for the Weed Department.
Courtney House, Director of Public Works, here for John Landon, Weed Department Director. Yes, the request here on the table is to increase the credit card limit from $3,000 to $10,000. The primary reason for that is chemical sales. Back in May, if you recall, the commission approved a request by John to waive the normal purchasing policy and buy chemicals as needed. And even going so far as to waive the bidding process. Now, what John has done in the interim is, as a minimum, he's always gotten 3 phone bids. But due to the volatile nature of chemicals right now, it would be nice to be able to pay for these as-needed purchases using a credit card. Recently, I understand Audit Finance has had to temporarily increase the credit card maximum and then bring it back down to the $3,000 level. Quite frankly, it would just be easier to increase it permanently to $10,000. I welcome your questions. Betty, do you want to add anything? Okay.
No, and this is in line with our purchasing policy as well, so I don't see any problem with it. I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. Those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kurt. Next item, please.
Item E, Sheriff's Office, number 1, consider approval of a sole source purchase of a 2020 Dodge Durango to replace an aging fleet vehicle at a purchase price of $29,350, utilizing budgeted funds.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Bronaugh, Shawnee County Sheriff's Office. The current vehicle market right now is chaotic at best. It has presented some unique challenges for us to replenish our fleet. We have been seeking alternate sources for vehicles. There are just none out there. And we've had some luck with Kansas Highway Patrol used vehicles in the past. Most are outfitted with all the emergency equipment, with the exception of a radio and a prisoner transport cage. So we ask for approval to move forward with that.
Okay,
Answer any questions you may have.
questions? No, I appreciate the resourcefulness though, so I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Mage, seconded by Commissioner Cook. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
Item E2, consider approval of a sole source purchase of a 2018 Ford Interceptor to replace an aging fleet vehicle at a purchase price of $25,850, utilizing budgeted funds.
Tom Bronaugh, Sheriff's Office. Ditto.
Yeah, I'll move for approval again. Ditto.
Sorry.
Second again.
All right, motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, seconded by Commissioner Cook. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Next item, please.
Item F, Commission, number 1, consider canceling the October 24th Commission meeting.
So, as the resolution said earlier, we'll be moving over to the other building October 27th. The process of moving takes a couple days, so the 24th, we're going to cancel that because we're going to be moving. So I would make a motion that we cancel that meeting.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
Item 5, public comment.
I don't have anybody signed up. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak today? Seeing none, next item, please.
Item 6, administrative communications.
I know we have some of those.
You have a few. Take one and pass it.
Sure.
Good morning, Commissioners. Candace Mearpool, Shawnee County Extension Office Director. Just really happy to come with our third quarter report from the Shawnee County Extension Office. It's good for us every once in a while to stop what we're doing, put our heads up, and think about what we've done, and so we try to do that quarterly. Our agents had 3,866 direct educational contacts this quarter. And what I do on your one-page report is I take their pages of quarterly reports, try to pick out some highlights from each program so you can kind of see just a snapshot of what each program area is doing. But I can't fit everything on there. And so another thing I wanted to highlight was our expanded food and nutrition program, which is led by Lisa Martin, helped 223 households this quarter with nutrition classes. So that's her nutrition educators going out and doing those classes. And of those households, 94% of the clients reported that their diet had improved. 37% said they were eating more fruit. 42% said they were eating more vegetables, and 33% were drinking less soda. And that just really shows me the power of some good education and also giving them options of things they can do with different foods to improve their diets. And then the other thing I wanted to point out was our Master Gardener response line has extended into October this year. Normally they stop taking questions in September, but we are currently without a horticulture agent right now. And so the Master Gardeners, after my begging and pleading, said they would do 3 days a week in October to keep answering those questions from Shawnee County residents. And this quarter they had, I had it in here. Hundreds of calls and hours. It's in your report, but I didn't put it in my little notes. 237 questions came in on the response line, and as an organization, they have served 754 hours just this quarter of volunteer time because they do a lot of programs during the summer at Farmers Market, Response Line, their demonstration gardens. So they're really doing amazing work, and they are a volunteer organization. So just a snapshot for you, but I'd also like to take this time to let you know our annual meeting will be November 17th at Heritage Hall. I will have the invites out in the mail this week. We just had Extension Council elections on Tuesday, so I was waiting for the results of those to send out the invitations. But I know we've already contacted the clerk's office. Be like, are you available? Come swear in our board. So do you have any questions?
Questions for Candace?
Thank you, Candace.
Yeah,
All
thank
right,
you.
thank you.
Morning, Commissioners. Josh Mikey, Parks and Recreation. Just wanted to update you on a few events that are coming up and things that are going on here in the next couple weeks. So first and foremost, Tim mentioned the Parks for All Foundation has a barbecue competition out at the Lake Shawnee campgrounds. It's this weekend. It is a formal barbecue competition with 33 registered teams. Last year, there were a couple of top 10 nationally rated teams that were involved in it. So a good event there. Next weekend, Station 9 3/4 event out at the Great Overland Station. It's a fantasy festival with themed vendors, games, music, and more. So if you're interested in that type of stuff, there's a good opportunity for you and your family to go out and partake in that. Tim mentioned the Winter Wonderland setup and Tulips, currently doing that. Looking for volunteers. We'll keep banging that drum until we get it filled. A lot of staff really stepped up to help from across the department in the next couple of weeks. Winter Wonderland setup begins October 17th, and it'll run through the 16th of November before it begins. Tulip beds today. I know they're out there today getting those ready. Also, if you are looking to volunteer, know anybody, we do have a phone number. It is 251-6812. You can call that number and we can get you organized to volunteer with us and help us get that stuff up and running. Tomorrow, Native American encampment dedication at Ward Mead. I know Commissioner Rippon, I believe, is speaking at that. We have various speakers and events or presentations, I'll say. It's about a 30-minute program tomorrow at 10 a.m. out at Ward Mead. And then also, I wanted to tie up one loose in there. Fool's Landing, there is power and lighting at Fool's Landing.
All right, good.
So,
Thanks for the follow-up.
Thank you.
quick on the information. So, any questions?
No, thank you.
All right, appreciate it.
Good morning, Commissioners. Matt Rockers, Director of Operations, Stormont Vale Event Center. This Friday, October 14th, we'll kick off our Haunted House Nightmare on the Boulevard. This year's theme is Carnival of Souls. The Haunted House event will run the next 3 weekends until the night of Halloween. This year, the event will take place in Exhibition Hall to accommodate for our new expanded build-out, which is over 5,000 square feet and has 15 separate rooms. That's the largest indoor haunt in the area. On Thursday night, October 27th, we will have a blackout night where patrons will be given a glow stick to go through the haunt while all the lights in the facility and in the haunt will be turned off. So it'll be extra scary that night. We also have a new activity center this year as part of the haunt where patrons can play some fun and spooky games while they wait to go into the haunt. Of course, food and beverages will be available for purchase with several specialty cocktails on the menu, and we look forward to seeing everyone attend. For more information, you can check out our website or our Facebook page.
That's great. Any questions?
I bet Commissioner Rippon's getting ready for the blackout night.
I'm hoping I don't have a glow stick failure.
Looking forward to it, Matt. Thank you. Anyone else? Commissioner Rippon.
I have nothing to add.
Commissioner Cook.
Looks like we'll have maybe some good weather tomorrow for the Indian encampment dedication at Ward Mead, and looking forward to that.
Yeah. I don't have anything else to add. So next item, please.
Item 7, executive session.
We do not have a need for executive session today, so we are adjourned.